So, good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to another inspiring conversation in our series of victorious believers. Today, in this conversation, we have with us a very dear friend, Mr. Anand Bhatnagar, and who is fondly known as AB, because he's always believing. So, Anand has, has had a tremendous corporate career. Although currently he is working with Reliance, and earlier he has worked with HCL Technologies and ING and Max New York Life Insurance. Right? Anand is a passionate speaker, motivator, I would say, and he has passion to build up youths, right? And I am sure this session today, all those who are here, you would not regret to be here and you will want more, right? So without further ado, I would like to welcome Anand. Welcome to our this series of conversations, and the stage is all yours now.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you so much. Just like AB to VB, right? So, yes, always believing to victorious believers, right? So,
Yeah.
thank you for this opportunity. And I would like to welcome everyone on the call. And even before I start, I hope and pray that everyone is in good health and doing good. You and your family are keeping well in these extraordinary times. And I pray that God cover each one of you and a hedge of protection be upon you. So that's my prayer as I start, right? And Vivek has already shared a bit about me. The four lines that define me, the tagline I call it of my life is start unknown, finish unforgettable. As you can see it on the screen, in our respective careers, no matter what we do as students, as professionals, everyone, when we start, uh, we start unknown, but only a few of us we finish unforgettable. So I, for one, would want to strive to finish unforgettable, right? So live a life of significance, not just a life of success. And my name is Anand Bhatnagar, and I prefer to be called as Anand or AB. Sir is a title that I don't deserve. So whenever we get a chance to interact with each other, I would urge you to call me Anand or AB, right? And as Vivek has already said, been working for the last 25 plus years, and God has been kind enough for me for me to work in organizations, marvelous organizations such as Max New York Life, HCL Technologies, and currently work for Reliance Industries Limited, right? And personally and professionally, I do a few things, and whatever I am today and whatever I will ever achieve in my life, whatever I'll ever become in my life is because of the three pillars of my life. Number one, the unceasing prayers of my parents. The praise of my mother is the wind behind my back, the wind beneath my wings. And without that, I don't think so I can do anything that I do. So I'm grateful, I appreciate, I acknowledge, and I respect the unceasing praise of my parents, that they propel me and they help me on my onward and upward journey. The unconditional support that I get from my wife, her name is Smruti. She's the rock of our family. She's one person who transforms our house into a home, right? And last but not the least, the ineffable smile and the love on the face of our daughter, a little princess. Her name is Natasha, right? And this is what my family is. This is what I am. And personally, I believe compassion is what moves me, and passion is what drives me. And it's better to be crazy than to be lazy, right? And I work with a vision statement. And the reason I'm here on this call is because that's the vision to impact 100,000 lives by 2027. And no matter what I do, I'm on a webinar with you, or I'm in my office, or I do anything, any work through my thoughts, actions, and words, I should be able to honor God and earn respect for my family and to live life with an abundance mindset. Right? That is what I want to do. Right. So I'm very clear in terms of what I would want to do in my life. And I would encourage everyone under the sound of my voice to have the vision statement and the mission statement and the purpose statement. And today I'm going to talk about today matters. And the question, while this is a webinar, I wish and hope that when things turn back to normal, we'll get a chance to do a face-to-face session, and we'll do a lot of activities around it. But yes, in times such as these, let's leverage technology. And the question that I want to ask you is, does today matter in your life? Is today important in your life? Right? And while conceptually you may say that yes, today does matter, but if I look at the past 1440 minutes that I have spent in the 24-hour day, do I focus on the minutes? That's very, very important, right? And I believe the best way to create the future is to design it, and hence today is important. And when we are living in unprecedented times, it is vitally important, wildly important, critically important that we spend time, invest time to design our future, not allow it to just go by its flow. So we should be in the flow rather than go with the flow, right? And I believe that the future does not start tomorrow, it starts today. Right? And today is also the slowest day for the rest of our lives. I'll repeat what I said. Today is also the slowest day for the rest of our lives. And as you can see on the screen, it's what we have before us are some breathtaking opportunities. Absolutely no doubt about it. But they come disguised as insoluble problems. And one of the things that I would want to advise you, recommend you to everyone listening to me is, do not let a period of crisis pass by. If you look at organizations, all big, major organizations, fantastic organizations, they somewhere started in a crisis moment. If you look at great careers, they would have overcome some major crises, right? So yes, the future before us is absolutely breathtaking in terms of opportunities. And if I were to ask you, you are there on a call with me, virtually we are connected. And while in a classroom, it is easy for me to see you, but I can't see you, but I hope you will do it. And let me do a quick 30-second activity. Can I request you, may I request you to raise your right hand? Raise it further. Raise it as much as you can. Thank you. Thank you for doing it. Appreciate your doing it. My question to you and me is, while I asked you to raise your hands, why did you not raise it as much as you possibly could have in the first instance? So I had to ask you a couple of times before you went from here to here to here. This was your potential. This is the capability that God has given to everyone under the sound of my voice. So the question is, from a mindset, am I here or am I here? Right? And that's a question that I need to ponder upon. That's a question that you have to reflect upon. And remember, success is not comparing what I have with what someone else has. I believe success is comparing what I have done versus what I could and should have done. Right? And that's a thought I want to leave you with. And I think so it's all about mindset. What separates one person from the other person? I don't think so. It's talent, right? And there are plenty of talented people who have not done much in their lives. So I think so it's to do with the mindset, right? And at what mindset are we operating, right? And continuing that discussion, and then the question and answers, if I were to ask you this question, what great thing would I attempt if I knew I wouldn't fail? A question for you to reflect upon. A question for me to think about. What would I do if I knew I would not fail? And then ask ourselves, why aren't we doing it? What's stopping us? Is it fear? Fear of the unknown, fear of losing, the fear of failure. So I can either have the fear of failure or I can have the joy of victory. And I need to overcome that. And I think so I need to overcome doubt. And I think so that stops us for most for us, right? And if you were to again look deep into this question, what differentiates achievers from average performers? And this next quote comes from one of my favorite authors. His name is Dr. John C. Maxwell. And in his book, Failing Forward, he gives this definition that the difference between average people and achievers is two things. Number one, their perception of failure and their response to failures. Let's think about it. For me, what is failure? Because failure as a word means different things to different people. I may have to re-evaluate my definition of failure, and I'll have to choose my response to failure, and I'll have to change my perception of failure. Let's watch a small video, and this video is one of my favorite contemporary sports person. He is an amazing sports person. The kind of intensity that he brings on the field, and I think that is mindset that separates him from the rest. He is a class above. So a small 2-minute video, and make notes as you watch this video, and I'm sure all of you recognize him, and maybe he is one of your favorites like he's my favorite.
I was not disciplined at all in terms of my eating and my fitness. I mean, I can't even relate to that guy anymore that I was in those years. 2012, again, had a really bad IPL season, and my eating habits were horrible in that season. I can remember coming back home, and I came out of the shower. The team didn't do well. I came out of the shower, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, you can't look like that if you're an international cricketer. You know, I was like, how the hell are you going to continue like this if you don't take care of yourself? Boom, from next day onwards, I just changed everything about my diet. Hitting the gym 2 hours a day, just taking a day off in a week, eating proper lean food. I got away from all kinds of junk. I did not have a cheat day at all, and within 8 to 10 months I lost about 6 or 7 kgs, and then from then on it became such an addiction because I saw the results on the field. I felt quicker, I felt lighter, felt more focused, and then I was like, man, this is the path I want to go. If we don't change the way we are playing, or I don't change the way I'm playing, or the way I'm training, or thinking, or eating, I can never be among the best players in the world. And there's no point in just competing if you don't want to be the best. So I wanted to be the best version of myself, and then I based everything around that vision. And then my training, my diet, my approach towards the game, everything changed. And I know that I wasn't the most skilled sports person when I came in, but the only thing that's been constant is working hard on myself and my game, and I wanted to make an impact. I knew that I have the ability to make my team win, and I wanted to be that version of myself where if I walk in, I wanted teams to think like, we need to get this guy out or else we're going to lose the game. So I thought if I can't have that impact on my team, then I'm not doing justice to where I am. And if I don't want to be that guy, there's something wrong in my head. Either I've accepted being lower than what I should be, or I just don't have enough drive in me. So I said I'm going to unlock my max potential and achieve what I should do.
So the question is, have we settled to say that, okay, it's okay to be living here, not here, right? And do I want to be the best version of myself, right? And he's the only player on the planet to score 20,000 international runs in a decade. And it does not come without understanding this. The most important space on our bodies is the 6 inch between our 2 ears. And I think so that separates the good from the great, right? Talking about mindset, let me share with you a couple of points which differentiates the mindset from achievers and how it is different from the average performers. Number one, the achievers from a mindset point of view are purpose driven, whereas the average people are pleasure driven. And as I share these points with you, I would encourage you to just think about it. I'm showing you a mirror, and reflect upon it, introspect your own life, and how do you go about doing your work. Check your mindset. Are we purpose driven or am I pleasure driven? Number two, achievers, they focus on pleasing results, whereas average people, they're concerned with pleasing methods. Achievers, they operate from an ownership mindset, whereas average people lack that ownership mindset. The fact that this is mine, this is my organization, this is my company, this is my country, right? And that passion that flows when we have the ownership mindset. Ownership mindset is so very fundamental. And I think so that is what separates the good from the great, as they say. And they think long term, they think strategic, and they think win-win. And whereas average people, they think short term and they think win-lose. And achievers have a mindset of building relationships, sustaining relationship, and building upon that. And the trust is the bedrock of that relationship, right? And are we building relationships? That's a question I need to ask myself, and I would encourage you to ask yourself. Or are we opportunistic, right? And that's also the mindset of average people. And as I said earlier, the achievers, they have a pride in the organization that they represent, the institution that they work for, the country that they represent. There has to be a feeling of that pride, that passion, whereas the average people, they lack that, right? And the five things or the five habits that effective people have, right? Just to quickly take you through this, it will be great to have another opportunity to take each one of them in detail. Right now, I'm trying to give you a very high level, maybe a 30,000 feet viewpoint in terms of the mindset. And then we'll drill it down, crystal it down to granular levels. And then hopefully we'll take each one of them and have learning out of each one of them. Point number one, effective people do is they make the right decisions early and they manage those decisions daily. And I think so the two impact word on the slide is early and daily. And the challenge is to do it on a daily basis. And they also understand, effective people, they do the right things, right? And very, very important that we need to understand the difference between doing the right things and doing things right. And I'm talking about doing the right things. And when you go about doing the right things, those decisions may go against popular culture. And the secret of our success is determined by what we choose to do on a daily basis. It's not once in a while, it's not days, but it is daily. And you just heard Virat Kohli talk about that. After that, he did not even have a single cheat meal. It has to be done on a daily basis. And unless I change something on a daily basis, my life will be where it is. I cannot expect to achieve my aspirations, my ambitions, my goals in life if I keep on doing the same thing. Remember, doing more of the same will not help us achieve our aspirations. What brought us here will not take us any further. And decisions help us get started, while it is discipline that helps us finish. And I think so the key word is discipline, that will help us become the best versions of ourselves. And I'm going to share some points with you from a mindset that how do I become the best version of myself? How do you become the best version of yourself? How do we together become the best version of ourselves? Point number one, we all need to have a mentor. Extremely important that we have a mentor and a coach in life. While mentoring and coaching are not one and the same, I'm just sharing this from a concept point of view. Mentorship is important in life, my friends. We can learn in one of two ways. I can learn in life either by making mistakes, or I can learn in life through my mentors. You pick and choose your choice, right? So what do you want to do? Remember, mentors are tough people, and mentors at times can also be tormentors. Yes, it's a nice rhyming, right? Mentors can also be tormentors, right? So who is that one person in your life who's tough with you, who's pushing you? Remember, even eagles need a push, right? The mother eagle pushes the eaglets, and when they're tumbling down, they realize that they were born an eagle, and they realize that two beautiful gifts that God has given them, their wings and their talents, right? And it is extremely important that is someone who is pushing us. And I need a coach, you need a coach, I need a mentor, you need a mentor. We all need a mentor. And mentorship, as I said, is a process. And let's focus upon the process, and let's trust the process, right? So point number one, let's have a mentor. Point number two, and this is the heart of my sharing with you, is be agile. I think so agility is extremely, extremely important. And when we talk about the word agile or agility, it talks about three things. So if agility were to be a tabletop, it stands on three legs. Leg number one, we need to have speed. We need to be flexible and we need to be swift, right? And we need to embrace change with boldness, right? So the agility factor is extremely, extremely important, right? And we need to embrace change, as I said. And if you look at companies and organizations, huge organizations like the Nokias of the world, the Kodaks of the world, there's so many, the General Motors of the world. I can go on till cows come back home, but we don't have that much of time. Those organizations, they collapsed. Why? Because I think so they failed to be agile in terms of embracing change with speed, with flexibility, and with swiftness. And I'm going to talk about four things as we learn that we need to align our passion, we need to align our purpose, and we need to align our perseverance. How do we do that? Point number one, we need to have what I call cognitive agility. And cognitive is anything and everything to do with the mind. So if we were to understand the factors that influence our mindset is in terms of cognitive agility, factors such as our thinking process, right? So our analytical thinking, our critical thinking, our divergent thinking, our convergent thinking, right? And it's very, very important that we understand how we think, right? And if you look back into your careers, right, from our school days, our college days, our university days, and for those who are working, right through our careers, I'm not sure how many of us have undergone a proper module or a training on thinking process. How do I think? Right? And that is one thing that differentiates me and you, and the good from the great and the boys from the men, as they say. It is important that I build cognitive agility, right? In which we talk about the thinking, the critical thinking, the analytical thinking, the divergent and the convergent thinking. And we can do a module on that when time permits. And also, to everyone under the sound of my voice, focus upon building future skills, right? This is a part of a research that was done by a leading consultant. I think so it was PwC, where they met thousands of CXO level people, the chief executive officers, the chief financial officers, the CXO level people, and they asked them a very simple question. What, according to you, are the skills in demand? Let's say let's say the y-axis is skills in demand and the x-axis will be skills easily available. So if you look at that and make it by a 2x2 quadrant, so you will have one quadrant which I call the surplus quadrant. So those are people who have having skills which almost everyone has. So it's a surplus society, as I call it, right? And the other extreme would be the niche, where the skill is in demand and the availability of those skill sets is not that much. So what are those skills? So I think so we need to have a mindset of building future skills, skills such as problem solving, skills such as innovation, creativity, adaptability, leadership skills, collaboration, so on and so forth. It's extremely important that I use what I have, and we have time on our hand today. And let us use our time to be future ready. And I think so that's a point that I want to share with you, right? The second point in terms of agility is our personal and professional agility. And what are the factors that affect our personal and professional agilities? Factors such as what we read. What are you reading right now? Are you reading books? And if there's one advice that I would give you is, let us get back into the habit of reading books. If some of you are aspiring to be leaders in the tomorrow, my advice to you, my recommendation to you is you need to be a reader in the today. Remember the sentence, today's reader is tomorrow's leader. So what are we reading, right? Please invest your time in reading, right? And read about business, read about decision making, read about problem solving, right? Which is so very critical and important. Second point, that factor that influences the personal and professional agility is, what do we watch? So in times such as these, what are we watching? right? And I, for one, would advise you to stay away from all the social media and the gossiping that is happening there. So watch things, watch channels, watch mediums which are going to make you a better version of yourself, like watching a TED talk on a daily basis, right? Watching videos that help us become better and help us identify a blind spot. So what are we watching, right? So there is time for entertainment and there's time for education as well. And I think so we need to have a balance between the both. And then a factor very important, whom are we listening to? What do we listen and whom do we listen? And I think so we need to keep all the negative out of our self, right? And anyone coming and talking negative, so I need to have a no entry board, right? So my mind is not a garbage bin that anyone can come and dump anything that they want. So be very careful about what you are listening to, because that is a factor that influences our personal and professional agility. And then the last point is, who do you associate with? And I think so that is a point that helps us understand that many of us, because of our surroundings, either overestimate our shortcomings and undervalue what God has given us. Right? So I'll repeat what I said. Many of us, majority of us, kind of over-exaggerate, overestimate what we don't have, and undervalue the gifts, the talents, the giftings that God has given us. Remember, miracles happen when we use what we have. So use what you have. That's a mindset, rather than saying, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that. That's okay, you don't have that. But what do you have? Use it, and you will excel, right? And then very important, as I said, the 6 inch between our 2 ears, the most critical space on our body. Let us feed it with faith. Let us feed our minds with truth. Let us feed it with love. And I need to check, you need to check, what am I feeding my mind with? Extremely important. And let us not be pushed around by the fears, but be led by our dreams. Remember, dreams, DREAM. So D is, it distinguishes you. R, it helps you realize your potential. E, it helps you energize yourself. It encourages you. A, it affects prevailing attitudes. You will change mindsets. And the last word is M, that keeps you, that will help you stay in motion and momentum. Dream is what we should be led. And remember, an African proverb says, if there is no enemy on the inside, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And many of us, we have the enemy inside of us, which is not allowing us to be the best versions of ourselves. We keep on undervaluing what we have. Remember, the talents that you have, the giftings that you have, the abilities that you have is unique. God made you a unique person. Let us leverage our strengths. Let us look deep within and leverage the strengths that God has given us, which is so very important. And that will give us the performance that we are chasing. And remember, once you have your performance, that performance gives you a platform, and from that platform, you can influence. And leadership is all about influence. If I want to influence, I need to go back. I think so it starts with the preparation that influences my performance, that gives me a platform, and from where I can influence. And I and you need to understand the impact of our environment, the impact of our exposure, our education, and our experience. And we can talk at length about this. I call this the 4E theory. And if you look at yourself, or if you look at anyone else, your role model, or anyone that you look up to, you respect, that person, you look at him or her, and you will see one of these 4 factors, or a combination of these 4 factors would have played a part in helping him or her reach where he or she is in his or her life. The environment, the exposure, the education, and the experience, so very important, right? And remember, I will remain the same person, you will remain the same person, we would remain the same person, except for 2 things. Number 1, the books that we read, and the people that we associate with. And I think so that's how we understand the personal and the professional agility. Point number 3, in the agility point that I said, the first point was cognitive agility. The second point that I said was personal and professional agility. Point number 3 is change agility, right? Are you willing to change? and the process of change. Change will only start when I am positively dissatisfied with my current state. And for that, I need to reflect, I need to retrospect, and I need to introspect, and I need to be adaptable. So adopt and adapt are two words that come to my mind. And are you like this, the image on the screen? Too busy to innovate? There are many organizations I can think of, and I can give you names of which would fall in this category, right? You are so busy. We are all busy. But the glaring question is doing what? Right? And I think so. We need to change and understand what I said this at the start of our talk, that what got us here won't take us any further, which is so very, very important. And I think so. Direction is more important than speed. Where are you heading to? Right? What is the shore that you are chasing? Right? And understand, are you in a flow or are you going with the flow? Right? And it is so very important to be in a flow, not go with the flow. Remember, a dead fish swims with the flow, but we need to be in a flow, right? And in a zone, as they call it, right? And I need to take a chance to change. And in case I don't change, I will be left behind. And for things to change, guess what? I have to change. You have to change. For things to get better, I have to get better. You have to get better. Extremely important that we understand that change brings growth, that is being proactive. The other thing is growth bringing in change. So either change brings growth or growth brings change. So I would urge you to reflect and think about you as a person. Do you fall in the first category, which is the proactiveness, or we fall in the second category, that is we are reactive, right? So let's catch the bull by its horns, as they say, and move out of our comfort zone, right? Because comfort zone is very comfortable, but nothing good grows there. Whatever I want in my life, whatever you are striving to achieve in your life, my friends, trust me, it lies outside our zone of comfort, and we need to move out of it. And let's get better, not bitter. Very important. And look at the third element. The third element, or rather the fourth element, is social agility. The first element that we saw was cognitive agility. The second we saw is personal and professional agility. The third we saw is change agility. And the fourth is social agility. Factors such as communication, factors such as your network. Remember, your network will determine your net worth. So who is what we call the inner circle? Are you building your network? What I know, what you know is important, my friends, but whom we know is equally important, right? So the fact of collaboration is so very important, right? And collaboration is a skill that will take us to the next level, right? And we can take a series on collaboration if time permits. And remember, the people that we surround ourselves, the 5 people that we spend maximum time with, we would be reduced to their level. So I am the lowest common denominator of the 5 people that I spend maximum time with. So the people that surround us, people whom we spend maximum number of time, they either raise our standards or they lower down our standards. So be very careful of choosing friends. And you can follow me on Instagram on my handle, alwaysbelieving_AB, where I share some of my thoughts and sharing one of the thoughts that I shared some time back. And if I'm looking at and building on some traits, some qualities, some skills, then I like to look at my association, my network, and check the traits that I want to build. Is that the trait my friends have? If they don't have, I'm not going to have it, right? And then understand, we all need to work hard. There is no substitute to hard work, right? Remember, success comes before work only in the dictionary. And my friends, preparation comes before success, even in the dictionary. So we need to understand that we need to practice, not until I can get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong. No substitute, absolutely no substitute to hard work. Yes, I combine smart work with hard work. So it's a combination, it's a collaboration between the two things, but it just can't be smart work. It has to be a hard work. I and you have to work ridiculously hard in terms of achieving whatever we want to achieve, and it's a mindset, right? So do I want to be here, or do I want to be here? That example that we did, that activity that we did at the start of the day, if I want to be the best version of myself, I need to understand that I need to put in 10,000 hours. This is what it takes to become the best version, to be a world-class version of yourself. Starting today, think about putting in 8 hours in the domain that you want to build your career, the space that you want to make your own. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 44 weeks a year. If you do it, if I do it for the next 5.5 years, you know what? You become the next Virat Kohli or a Sachin Tendulkar or Amitabh Bachchan, or the best version of yourself. Very, very important that it takes hard work. And you can read this book, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a fantastic, fantastic book that I suggest you read. And remember, the elevator on to the building of success is under maintenance. And I have to take the staircase, you have to take the staircase. There is no elevator to success, no shortcuts. Don't ever take shortcuts, right? And that is something that I have to understand. And remember, this is hard, right? Whatever I'm sharing with you, it's very easy for me to share it with you. It's even easier for you to sit and listen to it. But we'll have to put in the miles, as they say. And remember, hard is what makes it great. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? So that is my input to you. And last but not the least, let us not settle down. Let us keep pushing forward. Let us not rest on our laurels. Let us not rest. Many of us are living life in the past, on our past laurels. We cannot stay there. We need to move forward. Don't settle. Keep moving on. And I believe that you have the ability to become the best version of yourself. And we should not stop becoming the best versions of ourselves just because it is tough. Because remember, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. And never ever quit, right? In summary, what we covered so far, we covered the mindset of having a mentor, reaching out to someone and saying that, would you be willing to mentor me? Remember, mentors can also be tormentors. They will be tough with me and you. So if I want to be the best version of myself, I need to be agile. Within agility, we saw 4 points. We saw the cognitive agility, personal and professional agility. We look at change agility, and we looked at social agility. And I gave you the importance of working hard, 10,000 hours, and don't stop there. And then that's how I become the best version of ourselves. And last but not the least, we need to push forward. We need to push the envelope. We need to push the limit. Remember, it seems impossible unless someone gets it done, right? So it's all in the mind. And as I say thank you to you, let me leave you with one of my favorite videos, and I hope you will find inspiration from this video. And all I have to do is walk through. Wasn't that an amazing video, right? And as I close, my friends, I just a thought. What is holding you back? What are the mindsets? What are our beliefs that are holding us back? And I think so we need to get out of that state of mind that, yes, I don't have this, and get into the state that, yes, God has given me my giftings, my talents, my abilities, and let's leverage those, right? So remember, it's all about mindset, and let's stop surviving and start living. Many of us are only surviving and existing. We are just going from one day to the other day and the next day and so on and so forth, going with the flow. And I think so it's time for me, it's time for you to stand up, rise, and say, I start living. Right? So let's start living and be in a flow rather than just going with the flow. And start unknown, finish unforgettable is my prayer for everyone under the sound of my voice. And you would say, Anand, thank you for your time. I'll do this one day. Whatever you have said, we'll think about our mindset. We'll do it one day. But I'm sure there's one person listening to us. There's one person under the sound of my voice who would say, okay, Anand, thank you. AB, thank you for this. Today is day one. And I'm not sure who that person is, but I wish and pray that there would be many of you who would say that today is day one. And today I start the journey of becoming the best version of myself, starting unknown and finishing unforgettable. Right? Remember, this too shall pass. We are living through some very difficult times. And as I close, let me that when we are passing through these difficult times, let us pray more and panic less. Let us have faith and not have emotions of fear. Let us worship more and worry less. Remember, this too shall pass, right? So here is Anand Bhatnagar thanking you for your time. And I hope this was useful. This was beneficial. In case you want to reach out to me, my number is there on the screen. In case the screen is not visible, you can reach out to me on my email ID, which is ab.anandbhatnagar@gmail.com. And you can WhatsApp me on 8454943627. Would love to hear from you. What was your feeling? What was your feedback? What were your suggestions about this attempt of mine to connect with you and help you on an onward and upward journey as you strive to go above and beyond? My prayers are with you. My wishes are with you. And remember, above all, God is on our side. Thank you so much. Thank you, my friend Vivek, and back to you.
Thank you,
That was
Abhi.
dot on time. Absolutely dot on time.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll have some we'll take some questions, Abhi, if you permit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you could stop your screen shares, both of us would be visible.
Okay.
Okay, so before I ask you, number one, I am sure that this has inspired a lot of them who have been listening and who would listen in the future this video. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who will decide that this is the day one, right? And right. And one small thing, when AB, before I move on to the questions from the audience, right? One thing, there is in everyone's thinking, you are talking about mindset. That's right. How do you, build your mindset, or how do you keep that mindset intact in this time, such times of crisis?
That's a great question. Well, it's easier to say that, okay, work on your mind, but it's tough. And I think so some factors that influence, which help me and which influences me is what is my mental surrounding, what is my mental association, and what is my physical association. So I, for one, I'm very, very careful about the books that I read, the channels that I watch, right? And that is one very, very important thing that works for me. You may try it out, it may work for you. That read books that inspire you, read books that help you move forward, be associated with people who have a dream, be associated with people who are on their journey, upward and onward journey, who are positive, who have that that energy, that vitality. And you'll be wondering, Anand, all that is fine, but I don't find many people there. Yes, we don't find many people around us who have these qualities. So you may want to be alone in that journey. Remember, eagles don't fly with pigeons. I'll repeat what I said. Eagles don't fly with pigeons, right? And the scripture says we need to renew your youth like that of an eagle. So we need to be an eagle, have an eagle mindset. It's extremely important that we soar high. And I think so our surroundings influence our mindset big time.
Great, AB. So from the audience, one of my friend Nikhil asked that, does our mentor need to have all qualities that we look up to? Or it is okay that he is a good critic and tormentor, but doesn't have some of the qualities that a mentor, I think, might have?
Great question, Nikhil. Fantastic question. It's not necessary that you have a mentor who has all the qualities. Mentorship is more of a mindset, right? So if let's say you are my mentor, you would want me to be the best version of myself. So you are guiding me. You are looking at the 30,000 viewpoint, right? And you are helping me identify some of my blind spots. So they may or may not have all the qualities that you possess. Think of again, I'm a cricket fan, so sorry if you don't follow cricket. So please forgive me in case you don't follow sports. If you look at sports, Sachin Tendulkar's coach and mentor, he never scored any international centuries. Right? Virat Kohli's coach and mentor, he never played cricket for India. Roger Federer, one of my favorite sports person, his coach never won Grand Slams. Right? So it's not necessary that that person has the skills and the attributes and the qualities that you are possessing. He or she just helps you where you are getting stuck. Are you getting in your comfort zone? They ask us tough questions and they help us move on, right? So help us be in that momentum, right? So not necessary. If you have someone who has those qualities, great. But personally, I'm just sharing my thoughts. Personally, I don't think so. I will look up to a mentor who has the qualities that I'm striving to accomplish, striving to imbibe in me, right? So not necessary.
Okay. And there are supplementary questions to the same one. Nikhil, actually, again, how do you find mentors? And a supplement to that, again, from another one is that where are those ideal mentors?
Now, so there is nothing called ideal, right? So we don't live in an ideal world, my friend, right? So there's nothing called, in my opinion, these are just my thoughts I'm sharing with you. You may agree or disagree with me. I believe there are no ideal mentors. It is just the heart of the person. And so one, don't look out for that ideal person. There is, we don't live in an ideal world. We live in an imperfect world, right? So reach out to someone. How do you find your mentors? Reach out to someone who possesses those values, who possesses those traits of character that inspire you, that help you, right? So someone that you get inspired by, someone that you get motivated by, someone who has lived a life where you think that he or she can help you, right? And I think so. Finding a mentor is, I think so. It's a relatively easy thing. Reach out to someone and just request that person, will you be able to mentor me? If you're working in an organization, you may want to look up to the senior management of your organization and ask one of them if they be willing to mentor you. And trust me, they will be willing to mentor you, right? And so it's just that I look out for those people. You look out for those people who have the basic value system in place. It's all about the life of value, and that propels us in our journey. So think people that you respect, people that you adore, people that you have reverence for. I think so. Those are the people that could be mentors for me, for you. So reach out, right? Like I have 3 mentors in my life. Not necessary that there is one mentor, right? So I have had 3 mentors in my life and for a very long period of time, and they have helped me. They have shaped me. It's basically identifying our blind spots. And so I hope this answers your question.
Right. Great. So with that, we'll have one of Anand's mentor, I know. So we'll have him in the next session on Saturday. Anand, quickly, if you can, there is a question. If you can quickly make us understand about reflection and retrospection.
Okay, so that's a point that I spoke about in the change agility, right? So how do I change? So I need to reflect upon, right? So once you finish the day, I advise you that you reflect upon what you did through the day. So reflection is what I would do at the end of the day. Go through the entire day that I have lived, what I did, what went well, what could have been better, right? Reflect upon it, right? And were you at the top of your potential? Did you play the best that you could, or were you kind of your second best self, right? So reflect upon it. Again, retrospection is also similar to that, whereas reflection is more on a day-to-day basis. Retrospection, as retro as the word suggests, look into the past. Right? And one of my advice that I would want to give you, when I look into the past, I should never have the feeling that, yes, I could have done better. Looking back, I should never have that regret that I could have done better. Right? And that is retrospection. Look at the past. Look at your all that you have done. Remember, in life, you will win sometimes and you will learn sometimes. There are no failures in life. Failure only happens when I fail to learn the lesson. So let's look at the past. What are the mistakes that we have done? What are the learnings of those mistakes? And let us ensure that we don't repeat those mistakes. That's how you change, right? So if you talk commercially, again, don't have too much of time, but if you look at product launches, there's a concept called the minimum value proposition. So when the products are launched, they don't launch a perfect product, right? Let's look at Tesla. Tesla does not, when they launch a car, when you buy a Tesla, it's not in its perfect state. It's the MVP. And through your software updates, it keeps on getting better, 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 better. Look at your phones. What happens when you get an update? It is getting better, right? So we keep on getting better. If you wait for perfection, you'll wait forever, right? So we need to move on, right? So that's how you reflect, retrospect, and then move on. Remember the MVP concept, and you may want to do a bit of research on that. I wish I had more time to give you examples of products, services of companies which use MVP, and they get better as they go along.
Right. And maybe quickly, if you can, someone has asked if you can suggest some book titles that can,
I can
help
give
you to go upwards towards your journey and goals.
I can. That is my question. So that is touching the bosom of my heart, the depth of my heart.
Few,
just love it. So if again, this is my personal choice. This is not an ideal choice. So this is just AB suggesting some of the books that you should read. To start with, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm sure you would have heard the name of this book. Read it, right? And read it not just once, twice or thrice. So the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a great book to start with. There is this book that has taught me a lot of things, which is called Start With Why. It's by Simon Sinek, Simon. That's his name, Simon, and his last name is Sinek, Sinek. Right. So that's a great book. The other book that comes to my mind is Think and Grow Rich. This is, again, it's a book mentioned in the Guinness Book of World Record for producing. Most of the millionaires in the world have attributed their success to this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can read that. You can read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. These are like evergreen books. These are like awesome books. You can read that. You can read the 5 a.m. Habit. Right? So you can read the series of books written by Robin Sharma. You can read a book, Today Matters by Dr. John C. Maxwell. That's a great book. You should read that book, Today Matters. There's a book written by the same author, Dr. John C. Maxwell, How to Develop the Leader Within You. There is a book written by Zig Ziglar. He's one of my favorite motivational speakers, and he has written about 20 odd books. Read a book titled Over the Top, and the other book is See You at the Top. So these are some books that will help you on your onward and upward journey. You have my contact number, you have my email ID. Feel free to reach out anytime, as many times. More than happy to help and guide in whatever little way that I can.
Okay, my father is watching from MP and he's asking, so I have to ask this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so he says it's an excellent session like Gagar with Sagar, and it will nice to have a session on cognitive agility, right?
We'll have.
And the question he has is how one can avoid social media in present time. So even senior citizens are facing this issue.
Yeah. So what I do, I'll just share what works for me. Limit your time on the social media. So in a day, I have a time slot for everything that I do, which has the social media as well. The only social media I'm on is WhatsApp because it's a great way to connect with friends and colleagues. So I would be about 10 or 15 minutes in a day on WhatsApp, not more than that. So 10 or 15 minutes on WhatsApp is my cadence, is my discipline, and I would not go beyond that. So no Facebook, no other things, and I don't watch television. In this entire days of lockdown, you may not believe, but you can check out with my family. I have not even touched a remote control, right? And so no television, no newspapers, no sources of negativity, right? So extremely important. Over this in this year of 2020, just to tell you, we are what 4 months and 14 days into 2020. I've already read 341 books
Okay.
and added about 30 odd certification courses, and I do a lot of things, right? So let us invest our time that helps us on our journey, and anything that is pulling us down, anything that gives negative vibes, I would advise you to stay away from it, right? So it's a personal call. So I personally I am not on all those media, right? So stay away from that.
So for someone, as you said, Ravi, to be the better version of yourself, for someone, there's a question, but I would like you to, quickly give some tools for someone who wants to be a better version of yourself. So if you can give some tools to start with, one or two tools.
Okay, so I suggest we'll do again. For those who are interested, you can write into Vivek or you can write into me. We'll do a series, maybe a 3-part series on how to be the best version of ourselves. So just to give you a very high level overview, in my opinion, and these are just my thoughts, there is what I call the 3 secrets to become the best version of ourselves. What are the 3 secrets? Start wherever we are. We need to start. And sometimes our mind plagues us with fear, with doubt, with discouragement, with intimidation, and we are not able to start. And we think, as my start may be so small. But remember, the scripture says, do not despise days of small beginnings. So we need to start. Second, I need to do all that I can. And the third is use whatever you have. So how do I become the best version of myself? I need to start wherever I am. I need to use all that I have, and I need to do all that I can. So again, 3 high-level points. If time permits, God willing, we'll connect again, and I'll take you deep down into each of these 3 points. So
we'll do that. We'll definitely do a series with AB. And till then, people who know us can connect with us with your issues. If you're having, if you want mentors, if you're having trouble mentors, we are all into, mentorship. We are all there to give whatever is with us. See, these are all our experiences, our knowledge. These are all God-given gifts to us. So we are very eager to share and very happy to share with all of you. So anyone who wants to reach out to us can reach out to us on the coordinates given. Who know us can reach out. So on that note, we'll thank you so much, AB. Thank you for such an as always, an insightful session that you have had. Thank you for taking our questions, and thank you all the participants, audience who have been here. And do subscribe to the channel, like it and share it, so that we reach to more and more people as we try to spread hope through knowledge and experience. Right? Thank you so much. Thank you, AB.
Thank you so much. Pleasure interacting with you. Wish all of you all the very best, and may God bless you. Yes. Keep smiling and keep shining. Thank you.
Yeah, stay home, stay safe, and God bless you all. Thank you.